biggest game in our league history for at least 5 years anyway. I'm trying to think of a bigger game. Maybe you can think of one, but it's absolutely enormous for so many reasons. We have the opportunity to turn this season, which has been by many accounts a disaster because I think if you look at the predictions before the season, we were firmly expecting Spurs to be competing for European spots this year. But there we go. We made the mistake we made numerous times before. We went and we completely flip flopped from a manager of one style and ethos right back to another. And what that's led to is a squad that's completely and utterly imbalanced and all over the place. Now, I do want to start off by saying I don't think any of these players have checked out. The effort's clearly there. I'm not sure if you've seen the viral clips yet around Jed Spence, who was in tears after defeat to Atletico Madrid. Certainly since Tudor's come in, I know he got off to a bit of a rough start in terms of warming to the fans, and the general consensus, I think, from most of us was that he wasn't going to be the guy. That despite on paper him being someone who was going to bring high energy and turn so much around, it wasn't working. We've not won in the league in 11 games still, and there were kind of reports and leaks that didn't end up being true, but they kind of insinuated he didn't have the dressing room or had already lost the dressing room. Fortunately, that all seems not to be true, and everything seems to be finally ticking in the right direction again, which is great. But there's definitely a belief there now. There's definitely a unity across the whole entire fan base from top to bottom, all our different corners that we've had. People who feel so strongly that the ownership will always hold back this club and we can't continue down that path with them. And the worst thing they can do is continue to support that ownership because they're just delaying the inevitable that something needs to change. And then you've got people who say, well, that's not really within our control. We need to valiantly just back the players through all this adversity and stop being, maybe is toxic the right word, or is that maybe the wrong word? But stop creating, making it harder for those players. Things like booing at half time or at full time. It didn't seem, well, it's obviously just not going to help, right? It's going to make things worse. So we had to overcome that and change as a fan base, and we have. Everyone's One thing I really liked about it as well is everyone's dropped their branding. No one's making it about themselves, right? Everyone's universally just deciding right now we put our differences aside and we just go for it. We just show the world what an advantage we have by having a fan base of this size and getting together. When we won that Europa League Cup, it was the biggest shock for me really was seeing the streets of North London for that victory parade. It was insane how many people showed up. Hundreds of thousands of people. Clubs can't do that outside of the realms of Tottenham, Man United, Liverpool. We are one of those clubs with a fan base so big that we can massively use it to our advantage. And it looks like we are doing that now, finally. And it is already making a difference. You can already see, and hey, Ironing Sheik, how you doing, mate? Um, yeah, you can already see the difference it's making. The manager's already coming out and saying, this is making a difference. It's already making us feel united. It's already helping. And when those bus doors open, we want to just blow them off their, seats. Hey, Shorty, how are you doing? I completely agree, mate. It's now is the time we utterly back those players. So we can bring that atmosphere that just makes them feel finally riled up. Because I don't think player quality. And let me know in the comments if you think it's around player quality or you think it's around the culture or whatever it is. But I think the player quality is there. It really is. But none of them are playing to their ceilings. There's so many players in this squad that if we did a purge style sale on and said they've all got a 50 million pound release clause, there would be tons of clubs lining up to buy these guys. Destiny Udogi would be sold quickly. Romero would. Van der Ven would. Porro would. I know a lot of people don't like him, but he would. Danso is a great centre back. Bentancur, when he's fit, is great. Kudus looked to be a great signing when we had him. fit. Xavi Simons seems to be like every week getting so much better. Archie Gray, I mean, what is he worth now? And with the Archie Gray one, it's funny because on one hand, we're all very happy to applaud him now and say he's a £100 million player or whatever. But at the time, everyone said we should have signed senior players instead. But for that time, we were in a squad build process where Spurs needed several players. And if you want Xavi Simons type players or even older who are going to cost you 60 to 100 million and your net transfer budget every window is 100 million, you can't buy more than one or two. So you had to make a decision as a club and go young. Lucas Bergvall, another one. Like those players now, we are getting the long term benefit from that recruitment strategy coming in now. So it is paying off. I think a lot of Gray's improvements, though, are coming from finally playing in the right position that we've wanted to see him in for so long, being in that central midfield. But it wasn't like he wasn't playing there before out of choice. It was out of necessity. And that was due to freak injuries again and not having squad depth in certain positions we probably should have. But now he's flourishing in that role. And again, it's confidence. And you're seeing players like him go from being seen as quite one dimensional players to multi dimensional. He's going forward and he's creating opportunities. And equally defensively, he adds so much. But it's bringing in that culture I think we're ready for of moving on the players that we don't feel are up for this fight. They see Spurs as kind of just a stepping stone as part of the career versus players who say, no, I want to prove myself and I want to be part of it now. Agent Morgan Gibbs White needs to put in a stinker. I agree. This is where like the game can go one of two ways, right? With Spurs, stereotypically, we're always the club where someone like Morgan Gibbs White pops up with a hat trick, and it's just utterly deflating and floors us and all those things. For me, the sign things have changed are if we nullify players like him. We take control of this game and we make it ours. We don't let any of those silly tags that I think we create off our own back. We are happy to take the mick out of ourselves as Spurs fans. We are. We're happy to rip on our club, play on the Dr. Tottenham thing, play on the Spursy tag, all those other kind of things. And it's not helping. It doesn't help anyone. And hey, the Iron Sheik says Bergvall, Simmons, Gray, Romero, Van der Ven, Porro, Udogi, Kulusevski would all have big suitors. Of course they would, massive suitors. And you can put James Maddison in that when he's fit as well. Even Wilson Odeberg before his injury was really starting to rise, despite being in that culture where a lot of those players were really struggling for confidence and for whatever the formation they were trying to play. Hey, Milton. So Milton says Spurs 1, Forest nil. Morgan gives White own goal. You heard it here first. That would be beautiful. I think what makes this, and that on that topic of why it'd be beautiful, is because Forest have been one of those clubs, a bit like Villa. They've got a huge fan base because they've had a history of being what we call in inverted commas a big club, but they are nowhere near. And add Spence in there too. That's a great shout. Yeah, he's in the England squad now, for example. But they haven't been anywhere near what we have done over the last 20 years. They have not been consistently playing in Europe for 20 years like Spurs, building that fan base. And I'll give another example of what it is. I go to football training with my son on Saturdays, and the kids all wear the shirts that their parents, obviously, or relatives or friends have kind of tried to get them in to for whatever reason. And there's a monopoly of Man United, Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea, Arsenal. You don't see a Forest kit. You'll see like the occasional Southampton shirt or whatever because it's kind of near that part of the country that I'm in. But for the large part, it's Spurs, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United. You don't see the City shirts around either, and that to me is a sign of the size of our fan base and how much more we've achieved over that last 10-year period than the 20-year period than those clubs. And now they're kind of going with this culture of, oh, you don't deserve to be in that spot. That's ours as much as it is yours. Why are you seen as a bigger club than us? Well, we're seen as a bigger club than you because we are a bigger club than you. Our fan base is tenfold bigger than yours. Our amount of revenue we make is double or triple yours. So you can't expect to just come along and just waltz into our spot. If you knock us down, we have the chance to come back up and fight you. But if we knock you down, if you go down, if Nottingham Forest get relegated, the climb back up for them is monumental. The climb back up for Spurs is scary, but it's not monumental. You'd expect Spurs to be by far the richest club in the league and be able to track the best players and build it around players like Archie Gray and quickly do that. Paulinia, Solanke, Danso, Richarlison, Vicario, Tell are still good players. I agree. I know Vic gets a lot of stick, but when you watch highlights of a game weekend, every goalkeeper makes mistakes. And that doesn't mean I'm saying Vicario's a top 4 goalkeeper that's capable of being the Champions League, I suppose, but he's made out to be this lame duck that's a complete liability. The guy's been playing through a hernia. If you've had a hernia before, that is really, really painful. That is commitment to the cause to do that. And he's played through it amicably for Spurs brilliantly. And we're going to time the surgery so he doesn't miss many games. But we see the drop off. We drop Vicario for 20 minutes and we can see 3 goals. He is so important to us. And like you said, Tell's another one who's just been growing. And this is what gets me so confident that the squad is top 6, because so many of these names we're mentioning are top 6 players. Yeah, and Madison as well. Good evening, Ridley. How are you, mate? Owen says it will be a 17-0 loss. I'm going for a 2-1 win. I'm with you there. Hey, Milton. In Australia, Liverpool have the biggest fan base. Yeah, I mean, Liverpool, the biggest fan base probably globally at Premier League clubs. But what I'm saying is there's a gap, right? There's Liverpool and Man United, and then there's Chelsea, Spurs, and Arsenal. And then everyone else is pretty far behind. Even City I put in there. Yeah, and football didn't start in 1992, like we say, Sean. It's been a long journey, and you can't go back to, games played in black and white and say, yeah, well, we beat you back then, so we're as big as you. It's a different sport to what it was then as well. It wasn't this global sport. Back then, you could just go into the ground without a ticket. Games were rarely sold out. Now that's unthinkable. If you're playing a Premier League big match, they're always sold out. Yeah, and we were very competitive throughout the Champions League campaign. We have been. We did really well, and we showed why even when we're on our knees in the Premier League, we're still massive, and we can still do it. And I think we'll continue that on tomorrow. Oh, it's Hisu. Hello. By the way, if you don't know Hisu, she designed that awesome cap back there, which says "Come on, you Spurs" in Korean. I look forward to seeing you there tomorrow, Hisu. Are you going to be at the ground? I'll certainly be there welcoming the players off the bus. And for anyone else who's there, it'd be great to see. I hope everyone remembers wear white. I think the club didn't mention that originally. I thought, what an opportunity to do something. And we missed that chance to kind of embrace that side of the atmosphere. And it's the visual side of the atmosphere is massive. It's huge. It can't always just be about the audio. And we complain a lot about, fans who aren't fans coming into the home section. Let's just say it's an away fan who can't get a ticket for their end, so they sit in ours. If we all wore our colours, those people would stand out a lot more as people who aren't there to support the club. I think we should wear our kit a lot more proudly. And it is something awesome to look at when you look at that South Stand and it's a sea of our kit's colours. It does make a massive difference. Yeah, we had 200,000 at the Open. Do you know how mad that is? Bournemouth have a 30,000 seater stadium. That's selling out their stadium 6-fold over just to see the players on top of a bus. That is incredible. That is not many clubs can do things like that. Ronnie says, I also go to my son training in New York. So many Yamal shirts and Haaland. Yeah, I guess maybe it depends actually where you are in the world. So this is what's brilliant about this. I got to meet so many people of you from around the globe. I think outside of the UK, clubs like Man City are a lot more popular. They've grown their international fan base a lot more effectively than they've grown their local fan base. Locally here in the UK, if generally culturally, you look at City as a bit of a club that you define as, what should we call it, plastic, a bit of one that it's kind of, we feel, has cheated its way into the ecosystem. It's only a matter of time until they get some kind of punishment and proven that they've done that. But I think there's obviously going to be a wave of fans who say, well, they've got some amazing players and they've got, the biggest name I can put on the back of them, one. So if I'm going to pick a team and I don't have to pick it on geography or who my great uncle supported, I'll pick that one for a bit of fun. Yeah, I get it. But it's not the same here. You can't underestimate the importance of having that fan base that's been built off years and years and years of more than one player, more than one cup competition, rivalries with other clubs, experiences with friends, or whatever it is. Spurs have that history in the bank that gives them that, and they're not going to throw it away off the back of, one or two bad seasons in the Premier League. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there was more like 300,000. That what was crazy, it seemed like those numbers were really played down actually to the size they're doing. Love the work you're doing. You're definitely. Oh, thanks very much, mate. Arnie Sheik. I thought I'd bring in these solo live shows as a regular thing because we do a coach's view with JJ, which many of you know he's an A licensed coach and it's brilliant. It's really popular. We do them twice a week. We're meant to get one out earlier this week, but we had a technical issue and the video corrupted. Bit frustrating, but whatever. We can't control that. We get on with it. Obviously, I'll do my solo 10-minute videos and the originals pod, which is great, and then we'll do the finance pods. But I feel like we were lacking a regular live format, and I really enjoy speaking to all of you. So I'm gonna look at doing this regularly. If you think it's worth doing, just let me know. Maybe give me some feedback in the comments. What other types of content do you want? Because I want to build the show around you. That's the whole point in doing content, right? It's building it around the people you want to build it around. I don't want 100,000 people tuning in because I punch my chair when we concede a goal. I want to have a smaller group of fans who agree with my views on football, that we should support each other, we should be kind to each other, we should embrace each part of the fan base, whether that's fans locally, whether that's fans abroad. We are all equally invested in this club. I've met fans, well, and some of you will be in the comments doing that, who are more committed or just as committed as anyone else going to the game every week. Going to the game every week is not the kind of, or going away from home every week does not mean you're a bigger fan. It's a great that you do that, and it's brilliant. I'm one of those people. I'm a season ticket holder. I absolutely love it. But there are some people who would say that is what I wish I could do. I want to do that, but I can't hop on a 20-hour plane flight to go do that. So I'm still going to find any way I can to connect to this football club and be a part of it and make a difference. Spurs are a big six club in the US for sure. Yeah, it seems like we do. I've been to Houston Spurs and I've been to Vegas Spurs, and it's great to see like proper supporter bases in those parts of the world. It's absolutely fantastic. Um, Hey Ross, how you doing, mate? You good? You going tomorrow? How's the new place going, mate? I know you moved home recently. Good to hear. Hey Michael, how you doing, mate? Let us know in the comments where you'll be watching it from. I'd love to know whereabouts you're going to be tuning into the game from. And yeah, if you're there, make sure you come say hi. We do a meetup before the games normally, and it's like I think the best thing about doing this has been meeting people face to face that we get to interact with on here, and we get some really good meetups. So yeah, make sure you say hi. I'll be there around 11:30 to 12 o'clock, welcoming that bus coming down the high road, probably wearing this top. Yeah, I'll probably wear this top. I like this one. I love this, what was it one? It's like the anniversary top. It's brilliant. Building up, yeah, it does. It really feels like a cup final. It's mental. I've never seen it before. I've been going to Spurs season ticket for 15 years. I've maybe seen it kind of like this for a North London derby once or twice, and for Glint in the semi-final of the Europa League. But this is different. This is bigger than those. I've never quite seen it. It's insane. It's absolutely mental, and it's awesome. It's like the utopia, I think, of what us as Oso Spurs listeners and community, we all wanted to happen. We've all got our differences, but we just wanted everyone to go, let's just try during the season, just all love it and get involved and get stuck in and just embrace it for what it is and back the players. And we'll put the grievances to one side for those 90 minutes or that game day, and we can air them at the end of the season or at the right time. But let's use the atmosphere to our advantage during game day, not make it a disadvantage because we're so frustrated. Hey mate, how you doing, Connor? You well? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Connor's got a great channel as well. When the Whistle Blows, if you don't know that, it's definitely worth tuning in for. It's very good. Hope you're doing well, mate. If we draw tomorrow, can we still survive? Yeah, I think we can. Tomorrow's not a must win. The most important thing tomorrow is to continue this whole improved performances and have a view that the players actually know what they're supposed to be doing, because for so long, and it's felt like this in the league all season up until the last few games, where it doesn't matter how hard players are trying, they're running around aimlessly and there's just no patterns. People use expressions like they don't look coached. And I agree, we didn't look coached. And under Ange, and I loved Ange, but And I know it was because we were rotating the team out massively in the league. But those league games at the end, we looked very well coached in the Europa League final. But those league games, it didn't look like we were. So that kind of came on to this season. For so long, it just feels like we've been running down blind alleys and just don't really know what we're doing. And now, for the last few games, that's different. It feels like when there's a mistake, the players know who's made that mistake. The players know what they should have done, and they're growing into these roles. I think they're definitely a lot fitter, and that's helped. And it makes you wonder how much of this injuries we've had is actually from players not being fit enough this season. Because you know how it is. If I go and run 10 miles with no training, I'm probably going to get an injury. But if I'm a really well trained athlete who's really fit, I can run 20 miles and come out of it uninjured because that's how your body works and adjusts. So, and Tudor spoke as well of how unfit they all seemed. And maybe that's what's driving it. It can't all just be bad luck and a medical department. Surely there's a little bit more to it. Normally, when it's high pressure, high stakes, the teams let us down. Exactly. But this is the thing. This is where we want to see have Spurs changed. Because for me, look at Chelsea now. Chelsea are doing exactly what Spurs were stereotypically. They're not the same club anymore. Since Abramovich left, they are not. They've been trying to figure out who they are, but they're just not a club that just goes and pulls in the best players in the world anymore. They're a club that isn't turning up on the big stage. And I want to see Spurs show that they're swinging in that other direction. And it's going to be mental. That really is all mental. And we spoke to Dan Abrahams, who's a sports psychologist, and he said, yeah, like he works at loads of Premier League clubs. He can't say which ones because a lot of them have him on confidentially, but he thinks all our issues really are driving from a mental block that can be fixed. It's in his view, it was call it ants, automatic negative thoughts. So they always kind of, and we compound that as fans. When we make jokes that Spurs always make mistakes, the players start to think, yeah, well, I always make mistakes. And that's why I don't like calling out Vicario very much, because I feel like it compounds those issues. Yes, Oso 33 watching from Cork. Very good. I've had a really couple of good trips to Cork. If you do like the drinks there, I like a Murphy's. There, but it's very cool. I'm actually, if you don't know me, this side of me, yeah, I've actually do qualify for an Irish passport as well. My gran is fully Irish, and yeah, met my granddad, and they moved over here. But originally they're all from Ireland. So yeah. So yeah, surname of Foden was originally there. Anyway, so Slots' Liverpool struggled with injuries and players not available. Thank God. Yeah, Ross, you're right. It's so interesting seeing someone like Slot go from having that invincible aura to just nothing overnight, to being seen as someone that no one would want to touch. But again, I think they're a club that's just sometimes these situations are just bigger than the manager, and he's not a bad coach. He's clearly not a bad coach, but their fans have turned on him, and I think that's compounding their issues. And we're trying to swing it the other way now by putting that energy in of belief and pulling us all in the other direction. Ash, Tudor's Premier League form hasn't been looking good. Yeah, it hasn't been good in the league form, but I think we've only really turned a corner the last 2-3 games consistently. And this is why this game feels so big, because for me, if you suddenly break that duck off 11 wins, 11 winless run with a win following 2 other good performances, to me that shows you've broken free of something. You've moved into a new moment. And that means for me that Spurs will have the mentality of we've got to chase down those teams above us rather than worry about the teams below us. And that is a completely different approach to a game. All about manifesting these days. Hey, AJ, how you doing, mate? And thanks for the tags on X. I need to catch up with some of those as well. Yeah, the sample size is too small. So this is why this game just feels so big. And hope we're prepared to dig in. I think so. We're able to dig in more, right? Because it's all well and good saying the players need to dig deeper and be better, but there is only so much you can do when you've got a central midfielder playing at centre back, a teenage midfielder playing at wing back, no creative fit midfielders, no fit strikers, no fit left winger. Pep Guardiola's Man City went from best team in the world and treble winners to just top 4 contenders from losing 1 player. So if you take out 14 players and one of them is Haaland, they are not guaranteed to be in the top 6 of the Premier League. The impact we've had from all these missing players is absolutely enormous. And the squad is big. It doesn't matter what squad you've got. If you take 14 players out of it, there's not many players left. You've only got 11 players left in that squad, and that means no rotation opportunities. It means no balance because those injuries aren't going to be evenly spread across the team. And I do agree. And I don't want to start making this about certain individuals, but I think my main reservation when we got Frank was not that he's like all these coaches are brilliant at coaching. They've all got the top licenses. They've all worked with the most elite professionals. They've all held those dressing rooms and achieved fantastic things. But the culture is massive. And I feel where Frank took us massively backwards was he didn't want to acknowledge that trophy platform as something to build on. He saw that as something scary to him, that the expectations would be too high because we'd won a trophy. So he tried to derail that. He tried to knock that back himself and take that expectation away. I think that was completely the wrong thing to do. It just undid so much of the great legacy we had from that trophy. And we should have used it to build on that. And we didn't. And I do leave much of this down to him, the issues. And I agree, the players lacking belief, as you say there, David. It just imagine someone coming in the room and saying you're not as good as you think you are. That's not great for your confidence, is it? Someone saying, you know, that little fear you've got that you're not actually that good because you came 17th, but you won your trophy, and you're trying to cling on to the part that you won a trophy, so you must be much better than that league position. And someone says, no, it's the league position's reality. What does that do to your confidence, especially a young player, especially for players who have like new to Spurs? It doesn't really. Yeah, it was all bizarre. Anyway, I don't really want to go on about it too much, but I think that appointment took us back 2 years, and that is really frustrating because if we got that next appointment right, I think Spurs would not be remotely close to the situation at all we're in now. The game is in Australia at 1 a.m., so I'll get up and watch it, then drive 30 minutes to work for a 13-hour shift. Great commitment, Milton. Great commitment. Yeah, get yourself to bed. Got to be on the high road early. Yeah, I do, mate. I'm driving a car of 4 people down as well because there's train strikes on. So yeah, and I made a fatal error for those who are into curries. We went out for a curry with some friends tonight. I'm not drinking at the moment, so if you're wondering, no. But yeah, spicy food isn't probably the best thing to have before you embark on a 2.5 to 3 hour car journey on the high road tomorrow. Yeah, Jim, the idea of a topic spick for Spurs squad, which is picking one player off the 19 Premier League teams, but once you pick one player position, you can't pick another. That's a fun one. Yeah, we're going to do some squad stuff as well. During the international break, because those 3 weeks are great for really analysing the squad, diving into the ownership stuff and all those things. We're going to be doing all that during that break. It just feels right now the focus has just got to be on the games and this positive energy that we've got. Yeah, I do agree. I think it's still been recovering as we've just covered off. I remember one of Frank's at Brentford was kissing Tony's backside, despite all Tony was taking the mick out of Brentford in the press. Wasn't there something like that we had as well, where the players ignored him or something? I can't remember. There was something like that anyway. Score predictions tomorrow. Oh, Ash. I'm gonna say 3-1 Spurs. I'm gonna go for amazing atmosphere, flying out the blocks, but we get a bit overexcited, lose our heads, and give away a goal through a mistake. And then at half time, the fan base just go, we can come back and win this. And we just rip them to shreds in the second half and win 3-1. That's my prediction anyway. 5-0. Yeah, that's bold. That's bold. What's your predictions, guys? Been really impressed by the last 3 games. Can't wait for tomorrow. Yeah, it is the biggest game in years, and it will be absolutely rocking. It was Van der Ven and Spence who ignored him. It was. Yeah, and big up, Tom. How you doing, mate? Hope you're good. Where's your comment there? Oh, you're setting off in 10 minutes from you're setting off tonight. Great effort, mate. Great effort from Glasgow. I assume that's how you know Sean, as he's in Scotland as well, right? So maybe you guys have shared some journeys down together. AJ, yes, 3-0 Spurs. Love it, love it, love it. Yes, yes, I'm loving it. Do you remember, it wasn't even that long ago, something's changed in the last 4 or 5 years. I don't think it's social media because it was already there. But I used to go into every season. Was it because it was just my age, or were you the same? That every year, doesn't matter if it was deluded or not, I thought Spurs had a chance of winning everything. Thought a chance to win the league, and I always felt the media were underrating us, the other fans were underrating us, and we could go on and surprise everybody. But that seems to have changed now, where we just kind of downplay our expectations. And I kind of, you remember Liverpool fans get a lot of stick for always saying it's going to be our year, it's going to be our year. I think you need a bit of that. I think you need to be a bit kind of attitude in that way, that you think it's always going to be your year and it's always your time to come and do it. Ty says 3-0, Forest get relegated, and the Greek man can't refuse Morgan Gibbs White. Wouldn't that be a reason? But would we? We wouldn't go for Gibbs White anymore, would we? Because we've got Xavi Simons and Madison coming back. The only way I could see that happening would be if Spurs sold Madison. I can't see it happening. But 29 years old, major ACL injury. You, it is hard to say. It's not that I'd want to sell Madison. I know he's a fan favourite and all, but you know, it, sometimes the club's got to make decisions if players are struggling to come back. Ah, so thank you so much, donating 199 there. Thank you very much for the super chat there. And thanks, no pleasure. For some reason, I can't share the super like comment on my screen, but just wanted to say thanks very much, mate. That's really, really kind of you. That helps a lot. And if for those who weren't aware, what I'm doing next month is I've decided to donate all of the money, all the revenue we make on the show next month to a charity. And one of our listeners, Adam, is going through some battles at the moment with I don't know if I can say Adam. I don't know if you want me to say, but yeah, it's I won't say, but yeah, put it towards a charity that's related to that. And yeah, I want to donate it also to a charity next month. And it was kind of came from Danny Kelly's message, and it made me think, actually, I didn't start this I'd love to make this my career. I'd absolutely love it. It would be my dream, but I'm gonna need, to 5x the size of this to do that. And I don't want to make it about money. I think if you just focus on making stuff you care about and just only posting when you truly believe and want to say something, rather than chasing more and more volume of stuff, otherwise you'll resent it and you won't like it anymore, right? It's just not fun. I don't want to dread doing a live show. I wanted to do tonight because I wanted to talk to someone about Spurs, and it's 10:30 at night. Everyone else is asleep, and I'm buzzing for the game tomorrow. It feels like Christmas tomorrow, so I wanted to talk about it. But yeah, so that's why. So we're going to donate all the money away to charity next month, because like it just feels like everyone in this has put the good energy in, and you've created that revenue, not me. Like you have, by tuning in and supporting me. So let's give it back, and then let's do that more often. I'm going to probably announce it in the next 6 to 8 weeks, but I'm going to find also a charity that we come permanently linked to, and we get to personally know, probably a slightly smaller one. I'd like to do it around cancer because I've had it, and I can, and I know a lot of people have written in to say they've had connections to it. But one, I think that provides support to the people around those who have had cancer, because what you find is you get tons and tons of people flooding in to support you if you get a diagnosis like that, but your loved ones don't get that same level of support, and they're often left, with no one to talk to because they can't vent to that individual because they're scared they'll add that anxiety onto them. But anyway, I'm going way off topic here. Oh, Ulrika, thank you so much. Another donation from, is that Australia as well? Thank you very much. It's really, really kind of you. That's awesome. Thank you. Ashwin, if I'm being honest, we've always done good in the UCM, performed good against. Yeah, we did really well under Frank in Europe, and credit to him. We've got to be really. It's really hard to do in football because it's such an emotionally involved sport. I feel we make our minds up on something, and then we look for reasons to prove that point, rather than looking at everything objectively. And I did it off air about Frank from day one. All my kind of groups and friends around me, and people say you're always level-headed about this stuff, and on camera I stuck to the middle ground. He has to have a chance. He has to have 18 months. So the same for any manager. Off air, from day one, it felt wrong, and I made that clear to those people. And at times, I was biased in the way I was looking at things. I was completely biased because he did do really well in Europe, and he does deserve credit for it. Cookie Bite, good to see you. Well, thanks for staying up late to watch. Let's go play very similar to a Premier League team. We also played well against Liverpool. We did play well against Liverpool as well. We did play very well against Liverpool. Yeah, Leak. Oh, it's Leak. Yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry. Now I recognise your profile. For some reason, on my screen, your username wasn't appearing. And let me know if I'm okay to shout your real names out sometimes. I know some people have said before they prefer that. It doesn't happen. Thank you very much. I follow your podcast, love your content. Thank you. Thanks. It's growing loads. If I think back to when we started, and I recognise loads of these names who first supported the show when we first started, it was just one show a week, and it was always kind of the same format. And then kind of yeah, it's kind of evolved from then. Only really in the last year has it become something that is probably posting enough regularly to consider growing, and it is growing a lot. It's doubling year on year, quite comfortably, which is fantastic. But my goal is not to take this to 100,000 subscribers and be posting out 30 videos a day. That is not my goal. What I will do at some point is, once I feel we've got a community of the size where it can't grow anymore because I won't be able to engage with you individually anymore because it's getting too big for that, I will start to ring fence it around those people and stop chasing the growth so that we can kind of remain in it together through that process. And I've got some plans in play. I'm releasing an app soon, which will have all the content on, ad free, chat rooms, um, loads of stuff on there, exclusive just for us, and live shows in there. So it's just going to be completely free from all the social media. But I've done it, and I'm just holding off releasing it because I want to make sure when I launch it, we get at least a couple of hundred people in there, because otherwise you won't find it fun if doesn't come off to the right level. So I'm just waiting for the right moment to release it. But I will be doing that, and I'm really looking forward to doing it. Ah, Talk, thank you very much, mate. Thank you so much for donating as well. God, there's 3 donations tonight. That's so kind of you all. Thank you. Thank you so much. I would like, ego in me though, I would like to get to 10,000 followers. We're really, really close now. So if you want to help with that by clicking subscribe and liking this video to help it with the algorithm, that'd be awesome. And if you're part of the OSO33 squad, make sure you leave that hashtag. If you don't know what the OSO33 squad is, maybe you need to listen to the end of one of our episodes and you'll get to find out. So yeah, but thanks a lot, guys. That's been super supportive tonight. Six on the lineup. I think you've got to start with Richarlison again, right? Ioane looks a lot better under Tudor. And I know Solanke, but do you start with 2 strikers? I'm kind of enjoying playing with 2 strikers at the moment. It's just more Tottenham, isn't it? It's just way more. Oh, Adam, there he is. How you doing, mate? You're good? Yeah, and thanks very much for being a Legend Tier member, by the way, Adam. That's really awesome. I did notice that, and thank you very much. And it's been great chatting to you on the side as well. Yeah, mate, we have to get you to a game. We must. So maybe we do something like that. Maybe we look at end of each year. If the pod could fund someone coming over for a game or something, maybe we consider doing something like that. That could be fun. Yeah, that'd be cool. Ross is part of OSO 33. Yes, he is. I like 2 up front, get him in the box. Yes, I agree. It's just more Tottenham, isn't it? When you think of prime Spurs in the Premier League era, yes, Spurs was around way before the Premier League era, and we've had incredible, probably our best ever player was before the Premier League era in terms of Glenn Hoddle. But I think of Harry Redknapp. I don't know. I know Poch had a better run, but I think of Aaron Lennon, Peter Crouch, Jermaine Defoe, Michael Dawson, Ledley King. You know, those players. They were just Tottenham, and it was just all like Berbatov. You know, Robbie Keane. That was what it was all about. And I feel when you play 2 up front, you're getting a little bit of that back, a little bit of that old 4-4-2 era, which was just when it was just so every week was just brilliant fun to watch. Don't beat yourself up too much, Jim. There's revisionism. Yeah, Vicario, exactly. Yeah, Vicario. The things he does to save us are quickly forgotten, and the things he does that are mistakes are strongly remembered. Which thing? Boxing Hotspur says 4-2-2-2. Vic, Porro, Romero, Dancer. Oh yeah, I like that. That's very attacking. Yeah. But Moani, tell him Richie. Interesting. Yeah. Why not? Oh, thank you, Michael. Michael, very much for the $10 donation. Again, for some reason I can't bring the super like up on my screen here, but Michael, Elise, thank you so much, mate, and for also being a member. Yeah, you guys being members makes like such a big difference, because I try to build this around around the members community a bit as well. I know I'm not expecting everyone to be a member, I'm not expecting everyone to pay a monthly subscription for this, and they'll always have the content there for free. But knowing what yeah, thank you so much for your support. It's been a hell of a ride together. A lot of us have been in this now for like 6 months to a year together as members now. We've been through this roller coaster, which is pretty cool. Big up to all the coys, says Scott. Big up to you as well, mate. Hope you're good. You wouldn't want to fund me. Yeah, you say that. You'll say that. Let's you never know. You never know. Well, actually, at the moment with the prices of flights, my parents were just finally hit retirement age in their 70s, and they've dream is to go to Australia for a tour for a month. Their dream, and they were about to book it, and the flight prices have just gone nuts. They can't go. So yeah, that's gutting for them. Yeah, but Greaves, Chivers, so Archibald, some great names. We've had some legends at this club. We really have. If Tell commits, yeah, is Tell one of those that just needs to get that little bit of? Does he just need that kind of, that old expression of just need to put one in the net, but like put 2 or 3 in the net consistently, and then he'll just start to fly? Because when we signed from Bayern, which really wasn't long ago, he was seen as this massive signing for us. We're taking a protege from Bayern Munich and bringing him to Spurs. That was awesome. And it still is awesome. He still is an awesome player. He's had his confidence absolutely rattled because he didn't make the European squad last season. That really hurts confidence. This year, he couldn't figure out why was he not being played. He was coming on. He was doing brilliantly when he did. And yeah, it's been a shame because he is great. Shawnee, thank you, mate. OSO33, Shawnee. Thank you so much for the donation as well. Super, super kind of you. Super, super kind. Super kind. So yeah, I think we're universally aligned then. We've got to go 2 up front. We've got to go 2 up front. And I think having 2 up front as well, when that team sheet comes out, has a massive impact on the atmosphere in that moment. And the same with playing Xavi. I think if you had Xavi and 2 strikers on, everyone's going to be licking their lips with the belief we can crush them. And now, it's a Premier League game. If you look at the fixtures of most weekends, most games are decided by 1 goal. It's always going to be a close game. But I think it gives you that feeling you can do it. And yeah, it just what is this weird feeling of optimism is given us at the moment? I don't know why. I just feel like maybe we should just say it out loud and be confident and say we can beat them 3-0. Yeah, go on. I said it. Feel bad for how it's gone for Tell, but no one can deny he is as game as it gets. He's a warrior in spirit. He is. And it's great to see him speaking out about how much happier he is now. Do you think we'll be relegated if we lose to Forest? So I've been on the view that I did that quite a passionate speech in December, that unless we start acting like we're in a relegation fight then, when we were about 12 points clear, we were going to get sucked into a relegation fight. And at that stage, I got quite a bit of stick. And then about 3 weeks later, everyone was on we all agreed. We lost 3 games on the bounce and caught up with, and everyone agreed, okay, we're in trouble. We have to take it more seriously. But I do think since we've all acted like we're going to get relegated, it's actually benefited us because everyone's taking it more seriously and trying to find ways of making that difference. Do I think we're actually going to get relegated if we lose to Forest? Oh, I think no. I think we'd survive on the last game of the season, probably. But what would be really frustrating would be going into another international break with defeat, having to sit on it for 3 weeks. That would just be grim, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be another sign we're moving in the right direction, that we actually win a game for an international break? We've broken down another mental blocker. Thanks, Adam. I'll feel free. So Adam, I was just showing Adam's going through treatment for cancer as well at the moment. So I just thought it'd be nice with the news. The news of Danny Kelly was a shock to us all, but it's also affecting those in this group and community. So let's Adam suggested a charity. We can maybe get behind that one for next month's donation, and we'll reveal the details. Then we need to kind of go back and forth on what that exact one was and stuff, and we'll get that one sorted. But I hope the treatment's going well, mate. When I had mine, everything tasted metal. That's what I always remember being very frustrating because I love food. Don't know if you have that too. The Forest game doesn't decide relegation, but it makes a big difference. I quite agree. It makes a massive. And like we said before, it's not just about the points. There's enough time left to win enough games to stay up because we're not in the relegation zone yet. But it's the psychological barrier, right? You win that, and then Forest are thinking, "Oh, we're one of the bottom 3 teams in the league." We lose that, and we're thinking we're one of the bottom 3 teams in the league. So it's massive. It's great, but I don't know if he's gonna be fit enough to start. But it is so motivating having players like him that we can finally bring off the bench again and having him back, which is epic. So that's really good. And there's others as well, right? I think we got after the international break, we got Kudus coming back, Kulusevski rumored to be back in training. I don't know how true that is. And who's got Bentancur's not too far away now. Who else have we got coming back? We've got loads coming back, don't we? It just feels like that squad's getting a lot stronger now. Oh, thank you very much, Jack. Thank you very much. Pleasure to meet you as well. And yeah, are you going tomorrow, or where are you based? Let us know. For those there tomorrow, oh, so 33 to Adam. Yes, mate. Um, who is going to be there tomorrow? If you're going to be there, will you be around to come say hi? Because I would love to come meet you. So, like I said, I'll be there. I'll probably wearing this shirt. And I will be with taking my uncle and my cousin and Cliff. We will be driving down together. Never, if you see me, recognize me, there's no harm at all for just popping over and interrupting me and saying hi. I'd love that. It'd be really cool if you could do that. Matters, yes, Matters is in training, isn't he? Yes, yes. God, it's just. Remember when we at the start when we had everyone fit, we couldn't fit all our we literally couldn't fit all our senior players on the bench. It was crazy. You're talking about not putting someone like Tell on the bench. That's how big the squad is, how much it's depleted. It's crazy. There's gonna be no academy players in there again this weekend, I don't think. It's yeah, and it gets me a bit excited about next season because next season we've got Mikey Moore coming back. It'll be interesting to see if he's ready to be in the squad. I imagine it's probably going to be another loan first. You guys think about that? It's a little bit too early from him, but we've got Vuskovic coming back. A lot of people say we need to sign another centre back. We've got arguably the most sought after centre back in world football coming to Spurs. There's another reason we have to stay up because you've got to, those kind of players, they want to play in the Premier League. They're not going to play in the Championship. And I think we'll be fine, but just, what an opportunity to add competition as well to some of those players. Like imagine saying, no, Van der Ven, you've got to fight for your spot. Vuskovic is there now. For certain game states, he's there. Yes, maybe the same place. So we normally meet by the N17 Grill in the South Stand. It's normally where I'm kind of stood around there, and the goal line bar bit, that kind of spot. So near the steps. So yeah, maybe you'll see me there. That's where I try to go mostly. But I'll be at the bus welcoming as well. So hopefully see some of you in the crowds there. Barnes, love your videos, mate. Always the first new casts I look for. Oh, thank you very much, mate. Thanks. Yeah, sorry, last 3 or 4 days I haven't had to put any because these tech issues. JJ and I listened to your feedback and we got the tactics board out and everything. We did this. It was such a good video off Let's Go Madrid win. And the tactics board footage didn't upload and the sound was all out of sync. So frustrating. So we're working on a new tactics board setup where we'll have like one stood next to JJ where you can move the tax around and really give you that visual experience. Also, if you watch a lot on YouTube, can you do me a huge, huge favor? Can you also follow us on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whatever podcast platform you use, and also give us a review because that really helps. We actually keep breaking into the top 200 sports podcasts globally, which is great, but we only ever do it for like a day or two, then we drop out again. So it shows we're like on the precipice. So I think I just want to get in there so we're always sat in there, and then we'll naturally get obviously more growth from people seeing us in the charts, and we can start to go up. Yeah, press the like button, folks. How many have we got? How many likes have we got? Let me click on this. Is it 3? That can't be right. No, that's not right. 50. 50, but there's 107 of you watching. Yeah, it'd be nice to get up to 100 if you wouldn't mind. That'd be awesome. At least he does look great. I just wonder, I don't want his development to stunt. Is he one that we should be sending out on loan next season? Giving him that Mikey Moore style loan. It sounds like Moore's had a lot of growth from that. Vuskovic had loads of growth from it as well. So yeah, I'm not sure he's going to be ready for the first team squad next season. Well, the other thing is we won't have Europe next season. So that's going to mean less games, so less opportunity for those younger players to come in and get minutes. So for their own development, I think it makes sense for them to for those guys to go out on loan. It'll be good for them. It's good for them to do that. Who else have we got here? Oh, so 33 AJ again. Do you think Ange's project will bear fruit next year? I think Ange left us. I think the biggest asset Ange brought to Spurs, and when we were analysing managers to come in at that time, when Ange was on the shortlist, we did a pod with Scotty, who was a Celtic fan, who's a professional coach. And we went through all the managers, De Zerbi, Ange, all this stuff. And we came to the conclusion that Ange was our first choice. And the reason wasn't his football. The reason was his leadership, because we felt we needed someone who was going to come in and make a cultural change at Tottenham and make it about winning. And I think he left that with the trophy, and then it got torn down when we went to pragmatism, Frank. But there will still be an echo of it there. There will still be an echo of that legacy there that we can rebuild on quickly again. Yeah, Divine, Hall, Phillips. Phillips as well. Forget about Phillips. Yeah, I wonder how he's getting on. We must do a video on catching up on all our youth players at the moment and see how they're coming along, because that's yeah, I don't want to overlook that, because we've got a really good academy. It is not normal, said this before, that look, for most clubs, you don't see a player of Bale's standard, Kane's standards, Modric, Berbatov. I could go on. You don't see any of those. You see maybe one of those in your lifetime. We have just these players coming through all the time, and it's just crazy. And I know only came from our academy there, but we are very good at nurturing players and flary young players and bringing them through. Ledley King, academy boy, absolutely class. Yeah, thank you very much for following on Spotify as well. Well, look, I just wanted to get that kind of off my chest. If you've got any final... Oh, we live in Worcestershire Avenue. My mum is doing a barbecue tomorrow and handing out some... Oh, that's really cool. That is really, really cool. Can you give me more details? I can look it up, Worcester Avenue. So that is really cool. It'd be nice to come over and get... If I go there, will I see you there? Will you be there? Side, will you, if I come and get one? If so, I'll find out how far it is. If it's walking distance to where I park, I will pop over. Let me just write down that. Let me just take a picture of it that you said there, and then I can, if I've got time tomorrow, come get one of those kebabs. That sounds lovely. Mikey Moore scored for Rangers today. He did, yeah. He's getting his confidence up. It's great to see. He's so young. He is so young. We've got to be more patient with him. Yeah, he's on loan at Stoke, yeah. He's been captain, has he, on occasions this season? That's really good. Which 3 teams get relegated? Oh, well, I guess that's not actually that hard. It's going to be Burnley and Wolves, isn't it? And then it's... I think West Ham will escape. I think it might be Forest, because Forest got through in Europe, and when you get that late in the competition, you can't ignore it. You can't throw it for the league. You can't. It's too big. I think they'll convince themselves they're safe, and they'll start to prioritise Europe in those rounds, and that will just see them go down the last day of the season. Wouldn't that be nice on the last day of the season to see them go down? Hassan says, another Tottenham Hotspur great. Len, oh gosh, see, before my time, I can't pronounce his surname. I'm so sorry. I'm going to go watch a YouTube compilation. I'm going to say this right now, and I'm going to check him out. 1951. Okay, I've taken his name down. Here he is. Yeah, all right. I'm going to be checking out some of his 114 goals for Spurs. Bloody hell, that's amazing. Have to win tomorrow, Jack. Yeah. I think it's more about the aptitude and the performance than anything else. But if you play well to the level we're expecting, then yeah, Spurs should win, and it will be a great night. Because Forest did rest. A lot of people expected them to be knackered, and they rested 9 players for that Europa League game. And even though they went to extra time, a lot of them the first team players only played 30 minutes. So, and they will have spent most of that week preparing for our game, I think. So I don't expect you're going to just rock up with some half-assed team that's not prepped for that game. I think they're going to be well up for it. Richie Goal is coming tomorrow. Yeah, mate, what a legend he is. I'm so glad he's finally getting the recognition he deserves, because for years he's always made out to be part of the problem and a player we need to upgrade and get rid of. For me, he's always been one who's, despite all the issues around him, been the only consistent factor. He's the only one in terms of performance. I don't think we'd have won the Europa League without him either. No, he was pretty important to that final. He's absolutely key. And he's just, sometimes you overcomplicate it in football. Sometimes you just need a striker who can score goals, and that's Richie. And he works his ass off, and I feel he has the attitude where he will fight for absolutely everything, and that's what we need across the whole squad. I think that's why we brought in Gallagher, to be honest. I think we just wanted a few more people with that kind of mentality. Relegation Richie. Well, he owes us. Everton owe us one. We saved them from PSR and FFP issues when we bought Richie when they got relegated. So maybe he can score the winning goal against Everton on the last game of the season. Connor, having me responsible on cancelling the protest, it's absolutely imperative for me. Yes, Connor, thank you very much. Yeah, Connor's part of CFT and runs Leavynomics. that he's one of those who was saying at the start, like, it's been so good that we've just been able to kind of um, just put those things that are important, those conversations that are really important. And I've got my bridges to burn with Enoch that address end of the season and people in that leadership that I think are culpable for some of the challenges we're in. But as he says, like, now is just we don't have time. We've got to just turn around and stand up. And Connor was a big part of kind of getting that messaging and that change in movement. Say, you know, and Billy T as well. I know Billy's well known. He's great. A lovely person, Billy, and him as well. Yeah, they've all kind of been massive at just kind of using their reach to unite the fan base and support in this movement. So yeah, thanks very much, guys. Hopefully see you around there at the game as well, Connor. Yeah, I think Xavi starts tomorrow. I think he does. He had a brilliant game against Letico. He's surely earned to start there, and it's a home game. It would concern a lot of people if it's a home game and you're not playing in number 10. So I think he starts. John, good to see you, mate. Richie's problem is he isn't Kane. Yeah, that is so true. I feel like when we lost Kane, it was always we never replaced Harry Kane. That was always the talk. But you can't replace Harry Kane. You can't. It's literally impossible. We spent more on that window than we normally do, but that was because we sold Harry Kane for approximately 100 million, so we had to spend about 100. We reused that money. But I think people's point is we can often be slow to fill gaps when we move on important players, and we almost take 2 or 3 years later till we start to address it. And then Richie had big shoes to fill, and it was just seen as such a. I think we would wanted to see inverted commas a statement signing that was supposed to at least fill a bit more of that void, but that's not the player's fault. He was still 60 million quid, and yeah, he's not Kane, so he's always going to get stick when people miss Kane and miss those goals and just miss how brilliant he is. His goal the other night, that is not normal. He is ridiculous to be pulling off a goal like that. Just if you haven't seen it, check out Kane's goal midweek. Absolutely insane. Kane has normalised being world class to the point where people just don't pay attention to it before. It's mad that he hasn't won a Ballon d'Or. I hope he goes on to win the Champions League this year and then finally gets the recognition he deserves and that major trophy that he deserves. Yeah, Tell does have a lovely cross. When we first signed him, which we thought his crossing is very good, and that's an area we lack. We're far too reliant on Porro whipping balls in, I feel. Yeah. And I think Richie benefits from, he gets treated like Chris. Actually, Forest struggled like Chris Wood. There was a stat I heard on Forest. This is mad. Forest's, the last time a Forest striker scored at home was the opening game of the season. And yeah, that's just crazy. So yeah, they've got their issues too. So we've got to go in there with some optimism. Yeah, mate, the goal was ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. If you haven't seen anyone, look at his goal against Atlanta. Watch it after this. It's incredible. But look, thank you very much for tonight. And again, thank you so much to our members. You make this possible. Without you, I literally couldn't do this because I do a full-time job on this that takes up insane hours. So my days are like, well, not insane hours. So a lot of you, all of us will work hard in the world. I think it's just the way the world is now. Everyone wants more for less out of us. But yeah, I do get up at 6 most mornings. I'm sure most of you do, and then I get home from work about 7, and then it's see my wife and son, and then it's 9 o'clock on this for 2 or 3 hours trying to edit things, record, do everything. But if I didn't have any income from this, I wouldn't be able to keep doing it because it does cost money to keep doing it. And yeah, it's so you as members and also non-members who just tune into videos as well, that also makes a big difference, right? And those who donated tonight, that makes such a big difference because it allows me to do this and level up the show. So some things I spent some money on recently is upgrading the studio to make it a bit better as well. So I hope you're enjoying the changes. I've got some more bits and bobs coming in, and thanks again to Ed who's been helping with that. And I'm really excited to see you all there tomorrow. Those who are there and those who are tuning in, I look forward to being part of that energy with you from across the world. And tomorrow I'll be recording an episode with Coach JJ. So if you're a regular listener, also make sure when you have the like button on here, you can also, isn't there a little bell icon somewhere you can click to get like notifications of the video as well? I think there is somehow. Yeah, then you'll get notified when they come up. But I always release them to members the night of the game, and then they come out in the morning normally for everyone else. So you want them a bit earlier. Join a membership. It's about £1.99 a month. YouTube takes 40% of that, so it's only about £1.20 to me, but it all helps. It all really does. So yeah. Anyway, it's been an hour. I need to get to bed. I'm driving 4 people to the game tomorrow. And come on, you Spurs. Much love to you all. And I hope that this time tomorrow we are all basking in glory and discussing a brilliant performance and a win and dissecting Tottenham's winning goal.